Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the not training week but the competition week from September 22nd, where it was the last week of the New Zealand gymnastics season with national championships. It was national championships week, so you'll see the entire week and all the competition from that week. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Misha, and here I share my love for gymnastics. You can watch everything I've done in training and in competition in around the last 5 years, and essentially watch me still trying to figure this thing out after over 25 years. Over a quarter century, fam. I've been pursuing this sport full time, trying to discover, which probably reflects my lack of talent, trying to discover how to, well, for the most part, get in touch with the body to get it to do what you want it to do, even in extreme situations where the pressure is on, like a competition. It's a fun puzzle. It's a fun, lifelong puzzle. So I guess first things first, congrats to any Kiwi bloke or gal that's watching. Congrats on getting through the season. And whether it went good or bad, it's about the journey. And if you take your craft seriously, an experience like this, it's just a great motivator and a great reflector for what we still need to work on back in the gym to enjoy this thing more and to increase the chances of getting the outcome that we want. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a gold medal. Like for me, this competition was not about winning, it was about testing out the routines that I wanted to do at the World Championship. So even if I fell on high bar 4 times and came dead last, the whole point of this competition was about testing out the planned routine for Worlds. So that said, the national team members that have qualified to World Champs, our season isn't over just yet. We still have another week from today, so one more full training week before we head off to the World Championships in Jakarta, Indonesia. Fam, that pagan push away was very reminiscent of one from a couple weeks ago. But let's get into Nationals week. Let's get into Nationals week. We had Monday training session, Tuesday training session, and on Monday just did a little bit of P-bar. I don't think I even filmed any high bar because all I did was taps, a tap routine. But man, this week, something about the second hand placement on Coleman was just weird. I kept on reaching a few centimeters below, which caused me to, well, I think we're going to title this competition week Dodging Bullets, because I dodged a hell of a bullet. You're going to see that in the warm-ups of the qualification round, day 1. Otherwise, the bar was good. We changed to a brand new Gymnova rail. At my request, there was a slightly older rail up at first, and the bounce wasn't quite the greatest. But day 2 training session, bar was nice and bouncy, brand new Gymnova rail. And you see me just still working away at that giant Diami. One of those skills that goes off during competition weeks, during different environments, that the skill, retrogrades, degrades to an earlier version, as if a version that I was just starting to work on when I was learning the skill. But luckily nothing much else really went funny. It was just that. And of course it helped just focusing on 2 apparatus, just having P-bar and high bar to do. So yeah, Monday was just feeling the arena, feeling the new equipment, understanding what kind of changes I'm going to have to make to get my routines to come out the way I want them. And Tuesday was more about testing all the skills. So you saw releases on high bar. Actually had a massive session on Tuesday. I think did a fair amount more than I usually do. Sent at least a couple of each and caught at least one of each. So Tuesday high bar went great. P-bar on the other hand, just struggling with that giant Diami. The rest of the skills for the most part felt pretty natural. Didn't have to change too much. Reverse turns were fairly precise without that extra hand placement or hand shuffle. So the build-up went great. Wednesday was the first day of comp, but seniors didn't compete until Thursday, Saturday. Day 1 qualifications, day 2 app finals. So here is where the bullet dodging began. So this is the app warm-up of day 1, and I did my usual system. Started on high bar, warmed up P-bar. The wait was about an hour and a half, and although it wasn't bad day 1, day 2 was tougher. But here it is, fam. And I literally mentioned like a week or so ago that if you do releases over the bar and you notice that you're gonna pin off at the bottom, you have to raise your legs up. You have to raise your legs up as fast as you can, because I don't even want to talk about it. But if I didn't squat, if I didn't tuck my knee, you know, that I would be talking to you from the hospital right now. That's a exploded knee. That would have been an exploded knee. It would have been horrible. So, and I thought it was quite insane, because I literally remember after that moment thinking, holy crap, I literally just talked about this like on one of my training weeks just days prior, and somehow was blessed enough to be able to notice that I'm going down and made the call. If you go back and you slow it down, my God, you'll see that I started lifting my heel up like just as it's about to dig into the ground. So it doesn't get any closer than that. And it was gnarly. I still got a little bit of a stretch through my, I don't know, ACL, MCL, whatever is on the outside. So I had a bit of a limp for the rest of the day and a bit sore the next day, but got away unscathed. So thank heavens that I dodged that bullet. Now day 1 P-bar. A little bit over and a little foot separation, but nothing major. Here was a 1 and a 1, so that was, man, that was didn't need to do that. I thought I was a bit more in front than I was after the peach, so I don't really do the bar with this new construction beyond the halfway point, and that's why my instinct told me to take a couple of steps back. Not sure I needed to take those couple steps back, but a nice precise reverse turn, decent double pike. Fam, 13.85. 13.85. A shame about those 2 hand placements that I didn't need to take. Now at the end of this video, we're gonna look at 3 different pagans in comparison, and we're gonna get into exactly what gymnastics is for me these days at my point in my career. But as always, the pagan where I just go to tap the bar, always on the money, beautiful form. And here it is, fam. We're going for the big boy 4 release high bar routine that we're planning for the world champs. Day 1. Every time I'm standing there in that moment, it's like judgment day. It's like the God himself is the one that's going to pass the judgment. That's how it feels. It's this overwhelming. It's terrifying, but you just try to compose yourself, but not enough composure. Thought I was pretty close, and I definitely was. I sent that thing right up and right down, so had to abort mission. Spread the legs like crazier than usual, so no luck on the pagan. And as you can imagine, 3 more releases. Again, that left hand was a little bit low. I'm honestly proud of myself that I still managed to retain composure, and yes, that was close, but obviously don't want to miss. And pretty proud that I still got up after that, and 3 more pretty difficult releases caught even after the interruption on the first skill of the pagan. And everything else, all the skills, didn't take out anything. So that was a great tester. That was a great tester, and can't complain, fam, can't complain. I've gotten through the routine once the week prior, so I only have 1 rep under my belt. The following week, fam, you're gonna see the 2nd rep. Just got the 2nd rep done a couple days ago on a Friday. So can't complain. Day two, definitely felt the exhaustion kicking in and was much more careful this time. So just went for the tap tap. Not that I could have caught that one anyway. But same system, 1 of each release to get a gauge for the day. Today's were all not quite a bit, but just a wee bit on the far side. P-bar felt the exhaustion kicking in. Day 2s for me are tough. And it's my own fault. I don't really do routines side by side, even though we had a day in between. So I did get some rest. But inevitably, you know, when you're in that high pressure environment, you end up using a lot more energy just being stressed, more stressed than usual. So actually staying as calm as possible is one great technique just to maximize your energy stores. You're stressing out a lot, you're going to get depleted really fast, especially with longer routines. You might feel all good for the first skill or two. Well, this is my case anyway. And then the second half of a routine is a struggle. But there, speaking of struggles, you can tell I'm struggling. Took a wee breather, and off we go. So day 2, here we go. I remember waiting the 1.5 hours again and having second thoughts about competing. I was yawning, half asleep, and the only thing that kept me at it, I was like, well, high bar's later, I can make that call when it's time. But P-bar's a safe apparatus, you know, so you can mess up, but it's a relatively safe apparatus. So why not give P-bar a crack and then see how I feel after that. Yeah, I was literally laying down in the back gym, sitting around for an hour and a half or so. And it was much more difficult day 2 than it was day 1 to have to wait that long. But that's a challenge I prepared for. I knew I was going to have to do it. So day 2. Better handstand, but worse on the leg form. That's something I've been cranking out since then. Just one little shuffle there. But here is where... Oh yeah. So somehow judges ended up giving me 0.1 less start. So they paid everything, but 0.1 less. So maybe they took the peach 1 down to a D part and forgot that you can't do, that it counts as a repeated skill. So we inquired into the 0.1, and then it ended up being my peach 1 is not paid at all, which means the Healy from 1 bar isn't paid. So I didn't get an E part and a D part paid. But we were just curious. We weren't too concerned about the score at that point. The score was insignificant with that obvious muck-up. But yeah, took me down like a whole mark from what I actually had. Okay, so I knew I had to hold the tuck longer. That may have been like the one focus for this day 2. Just forget the rest, just do this pagan the way that you know how. And boom, one of my cleanest ones yet. In terms of the tuck length, dare I say perfect. Dare I say I don't even want to change it. Still that left hand, a little bit funky. Something was off there. Could have pulled over a bit more. And you see I started winding up for the pike gaylord, but my body told me, no, that's it, man. Even here I was like, do I do the gaylord too? No. So listened to the body, salvaged the routine, finished off. And to finish the week, we're going to take a look at, you know, really how deeply what you put in your mind affects how the gymnastics comes out. So that I was celebrating, that celebration was one celebration only. Internally, I was just over the moon that I was able to hold that tuck a little bit longer. So, too close on the right side, early kick out, and you can see how that changes. Like, it looks almost identical, right? But then the kick out here is just a split second too early, and it was a little bit close. Then, when I touch versus when I catch. So check out the leg form. I hold the tuck longer naturally when I know I'm touching, but when I know I'm catching, the leg form depletes. So that's just one quick reflection for you guys. What you put into your head affects how it comes out. So sometimes you gotta trick yourself, fam. Thanks for watching. All the best. Till next time.